Hi, welcome back to Music Theory for Preliminary Level, and this is Lesson 4. In Lesson 4, here's the outline for this lesson. We would look at key signature and major scales, and in doing this, we'll try to understand these key signatures in terms of sharps and flats. And we will construct the scale, the major scale of C, F, and G in both the treble and the bass stave. Of course, using the treble and the bass clefs 1 octave. Eventually, we will try to identify tones, semitones, and tonic triads in the scales. At the end of this lesson, you'll be able to know how to derive the key signatures by using the movement tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. You will be able to represent the key signatures in a tabular form, construct the scale of C, F, and G majors on both forms of staves in ascending and descending order using all notes with and without the key signatures. And eventually you'll be able to identify the key of any given musical, except that if you're given a musical piece or a score, just by looking at it, by glancing through, you will be able to identify the key of that music piece. So let's get right into the practical demonstration of this key signatures and major scales. Let's begin by talking about key signatures. If we draw a stave this way, and we'll put our clef. The first set of things that you see on the stave is what you call key signature. You have a section for key signature, and then you have another section for time signature. And in these key signatures, that's what we want to look at today. Sometimes you see things like sharps, sometimes you see things like flats. We would check what these flats and the sharps mean. For those that don't know what sharp is, this is the shape of a sharp. I'm sure you've seen it somewhere out there. This is sharp, and this is flat. Why it's called flat, I don't know. Maybe don't ask me, because I really don't know. Perhaps maybe because it looks like a flat kind of shape. Just saying. Okay, let us talk about the sharps and the flats. The number of sharps and the key. One sharp is G major. Remember, we're talking about the major scales and major keys. One sharp is G. I'll tell you why one sharp is G much later, but let's preview this table and then we'll be able to explain it. Two sharps is D. 3 is A. 4 is E. 5 is B. 6 is F sharp, and 7 is C sharp. Now the question is, how did I know all these things? How did we come about G, D, A, E, B, F, C sharp? It comes from the movement tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Knowing this movement gives you an idea of all the keys in music. Now let's draw a dummy keyboard. We will use this dummy keyboard to explain tone, tone, semitone and tone, 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 semitone. This is a dummy keyboard with white and black keys. Let's shade this part and assume that these are the black keys of the dummy keyboard. We say it's dummy because you cannot play this one. This one would not make any sound, so it's called a dummy. The first key or the first note on the dummy keyboard before the two black keys is called C. And in music, let's remind yourself again that music alphabets are from A to G. We said that in the first lesson. So after C should be D, and then E, F, G, A, B, and then C again. And this one is called one octave. From the word oct, which means 8. So we have 8 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. From C to C, you have 1 octave. And now, let's look at tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. On the key of C, the rule states that between you have notes, you have tonic surface like you have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Invariably, we could call those other names like tonic, supertonic, mediant, submediant, subdominant, and dominant, and all that. But let's use the tonic surface right now to identify these notes. This is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So the rule states that's for major keys. The rule states that between the third and the fourth notes is a semitone, and between the 7th and 8th is another semitone, and the rest interval, all the intervals apart from these two are tone intervals. So between the first and second note is a tone, between the second and third is a tone, here between the 4th and 5th is a tone, this 5th and 6th is a tone, the 6th and 7th is a tone. And that's how you have TTS, TTTS. It's tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Which means that between C and D is a tone from this dummy keyboard. The reason that is so is because you have a black key in between these two white keys, C and D. So the distance between C and D is a tone. So C and D is a tone. The distance between D and E is another tone, because here you have another black key between D and E. But notice how there is no black key between E and F. Because there is no black key in there, the distance is a semitone. here, this point, there is no black key. Let's see, between F and G is another tone, of course, because there is a black key up there. Between G and A is another tone. Between A and B is another tone. But between B and C, here again, there is no black key, so that's a semitone. And that's why for the key of C, you have no flat, no note flattened or no note sharpened. Remember that on the dummy keyboard, let's draw the dummy keyboard with the names again. We call these sharps and flat accidentals. Accidentals in music are the stops, are the things that affect the notes as they are moving in time. Just like you have accidents on the road, accidents are obstructions or things that obstruct a vehicle or a motorist or a cyclist, whatever. The same way, you have accidents in music. We call them accidentals. And so you, in this case, can either move forward or move backwards. If you move forwards, then you are sharpening the notes. You are sharpening. If you move backwards, then you are flattening. You're flattening the notes. So if this is C and this is D, then this shaded note here, the black one, is called C sharp or D flat. It's called C sharp because if you move forward this way, that's moving forward this way, right? But then you have to move in the semitone movement because the semitone movement is the smallest distance in music. And so you have to move each time semitones. So the way you move is from this to black key and black key to white key to black key again, and black key to white key. And the movement continues like that. So if we try to move forward, we'll be hitting this particular black note here. And this one would be called C sharp. So that black note is called C sharp. And if we try to move back from D, this same note will be called D flat. So this black note has two names called C sharp or D flat. So the same thing happens to this one. This will be called D sharp or E flat. And this is F because this is E, G, A, B, and C again. This will be called F sharp or G flat. This will be called G sharp or A flat. And this will be called A flat, A sharp, or B flat. So the 5 for a single octave, let's bring it out properly. This is called C sharp or D flat. This is called D sharp or E flat. This is called F sharp or G flat. This is called G sharp or A flat. And finally, this is called A sharp or B flat. And that's how we came about all these things. So I was going to explain why 1 sharp is the key of G. But let's see it well from the key of C. from what we've seen in C, that in the key of C, there is no note that is sharpened and there is no note that is flattened. Because if we play the key of C, you have only white notes, only the white notes on the key of C. So you don't have any black notes in the key of C. Now, let us do the same for the key of F. Or in this case, we're talking about 1 sharp, which is G. Okay, let's do the same for the key of G. For the key of G, we will move in the same tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Okay. And this is G. This is F, E, D, C. So we are starting here at this point. Okay. Now, to get the, you have this. This is major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. To get the re, which is the second note, we are asked to move a tone distance. To get the second note, move a tone distance. So this will be what? A. Alright. So here we have the first note, the second note. To get the third note, we are also asked to move another tone distance. Remember the rule. The rule is tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Just keep it in mind. To get the third note, we are asked to move a tone distance. A tone distance will be here, B. Okay. Why? Because there's a black key here. Also, there's a black key here. All right. Now, to get the fourth note, we are asked to move a semitone distance. A semitone distance is here, C, because there is no black key, right? So we are good on that point. To get the fifth note, we are asked to move a tone. So we move a tone, D, because there is a black key. We move a tone. That's the fifth note. To get the sixth note, we are asked to move another tone. So we move another tone, which is E, sixth note. To get the seventh note, we are asked to move another tone. Now, in this case, this is a semitone movement, so we can't put it on F, because from E to F is a semitone, but we need a tone. Therefore, we will go this and then this. So here is our seventh note. And this will be F sharp right there. F sharp, which is our seventh note. And finally, to get the eighth notes, we are asked to move a semitone distance, which will be back to G, because from F sharp to G is a semitone distance. Eventually, if we write out the notes for G, we'll have G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp right there, and then G again. Okay. Now, in looking at this, we can immediately see that one note out of all the notes for G is sharpened, which is what? F. So in this key of G, one note is sharpened, and that's why one sharp is G major. And that's just the reason. while 1 sharp is G major. It means that in the key of G major, 1 note is sharpened. That note is F. So we come back to our table and say notes sharpened. This one is F. Okay. Now let's look at D. D major, just as another reference. We draw another dummy keyboard just to understand it better. And this is D. So our starting point is here. And remember the rule: tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So between the first, I'm going to move faster right now. Between the first and the second is a tone. So we put it there, E, 1, 2. Between the second and the third is another tone. In this case, we cannot write F. We're going to write F sharp. So this will be our third note, because we need a tone distance. Between the third and the fourth, it should be a semitone. So this to this is a semitone. So this will be our fourth note, right? Which is G, A, B, C, D. Okay? Between the fourth and the fifth is a tone. So we write it there, fifth. Between the fifth and the sixth is a tone. So we write it there, sixth. Between the sixth and the seventh is another tone. But in this case, we have a semitone. So to get a tone, we will take C sharp. Again, this will be our seventh note. And lastly, seventh to eighth is another semitone, which will be D. So eventually for D, you have D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and D again. So just looking at the key of D, you would see that there are 2 notes that are sharpened, and these notes are F and C. And that brings us again back to the table where we showed that for D major, you have 2 sharps. That means 2 notes are sharpened, and those notes are what? F and C. If we continue like that in this table, we have F, C, G. And then F, C, G, D for 4. This is G, sorry. This is F, C, G, D, A for 5. F, C, G, D, A, E for 6. And F, C, G, D, A, E, B for 7. Right. So these are the notes that are sharpened for the sharp family of keys. So if you pick a piece of music and you see 1 sharp on the stave, that piece of music is in the key of G. If there are 2, it's on the key of D. And if there are 3, it's on the key of A. And so on and so forth in this table. Now let's look at the flats, because we've considered the sharps now. We look at flats. Notes flattened. Notes flattened. Number of flats. And the key. 1 flat is F, and 2 is B flat major. 3 is E flat major. Notice that I didn't just write E major because it's different. In music, E major and E flat major are not the same key. If you say E major, then you'll be referring to the sharps family, E major. But this is E flat major. So we continue. 4 flats is A flat major. 5 is D flat major. 6 is C flat major, and we stop there. 6 is G flat major, and 7, is C flat major. I beg your pardon. Now let's see again why 1 flat is F. The way to do that is to go to our dummy keyboard and use the same formula: tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. This is our dummy keyboard. Again, I will move a bit faster because we've seen this process before a few times now. We have C, D, E, F. So our starting point will be here. Between the first and second note is a tone. So first and second. This is G, A, B, C, D, E, and F again. Between the second and the third is another tone. Remember the formula: tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. It's a tone, so we write it there. So we now have tone between this tone, between that tone, and now between the third and the fourth, we need a semitone. So to get a semitone, we take these notes. But remember that this note has two names. This note is called A sharp or B flat. But now we are talking about flats family, so we can't be mentioning sharps. So we'll have B flat instead of A flat there. They both mean the same. To get a tone, we'll take C, which will be our fifth note, I beg your pardon. To get the sixth, we will take a tone. To get the seventh, we will take another tone. And to get the eighth, it's a semitone, and rightly so, there is a semitone distance here between E and F, so that will be our eighth note. Now let's write out the notes for F. You have F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. So again, just by looking at this, you can see that only one note is flattened, and that note is B. Only B is flattened in the key of F. And so it comes back again to our table where you have one flat is F major. The note that is flattened is B. And if we continue like that with B flat, you have B and E. And then 3 will be B, E, A. And 4 will be B, E, A, D. And then B, E, A, D, G for 5. And 6 will be B, E, A, D, G, C for 6. And B, E, A, D, G, C, F. in this order. So these are the notes that will be flattened for all these keys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. So now, if you pick a piece of music and you see one flat on it, then you know it's on the key of F. If you pick a piece of music, it's 2 flats, then you know it's on the key of B flat, and on according to this table. We've been able to look at construction of the key of C, the key of F, and the key of G. Now let's look at how you put this into scale, into a major scale of both the treble and the bass clef. So we look at C first. To construct a major scale of C major, first, of course, on the treble stave, you have to draw your stave. And remember that the key of C has no sharp and no flat. No sharp, no flat is the key of C. We call it a natural key. So I'll just put my clef sign and without any key signature because it has no sharp and no flat. And so I will identify the place where there is C on the stave. And remember, from our alphabet in lesson 2, you have F, A, C, E, face for the treble stave, where you have E, and the space here will be D, the ledger line will be C. So you could start your construction from here. Now, to construct a major scale of C, we'll use semi-brief notes like eggs. So we do this, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we started from C and we ended in C. There is no sharp, no flat. So we use this. If you did this, then you will be correct for the construction of C major scale in treble stave. The same works for the bass stave. If you have a bass stave like that, this will be your C. We start from here. Remember, A, C, E, G for the spaces. So this will be your C, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the ledger line will be 8. Now see how I put these semi-brief notes on the stave. We put it line, space, line, space. So this is 1, and then the next will be the line and the space, and then the line and the space, the line, the space, and lastly the line. And that's how to construct a scale, a major scale of C major. So we've constructed right now C major scales in both the treble stave and the bass stave. We'll do the same for F, and then you can do the one for G as an assignment. So this will be F, the key of F has one flat, like we've seen already. That one flat, let's remind ourselves where it is drawn. It's on B, because B is flattened. So we'll come to the line that is B, or the space that is B, and we'll put our 1 flat right there. In this case, it's the third line, so we put 1 flat in this place. That becomes the key of F. Where there is F on the stave is here. Remember, face again, face, the acronym on the stave. So you have F on the first space. We put our egg there and we go like that, space, line, space, line, space, line, space, line. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you did this, you would have constructed an F, you would have constructed the major scale of F. So this is a major scale of F. The same works with the bass stave. We'll find B on the stave, which is the second line, and we'll put our 1 flat right there, and then we start writing F. In this case, this will be F, which is our space, because the first line of the bass stave is G. So before G will be F. So the space there is F, and then we start from there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember, good boy deserves Fanta always, the lines. So you can see that the fourth line is F, and that's where our 8th note should end. It starts from F and it ends on F. In this case, we have F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. However, you can see that the note B is already flattened on this line. It's flattened, and so we should have B flat in this case. So that is the major scale of F. Alright, I'll leave you to do the major scale of G in both treble and the bass staves. Lastly, in the course of explaining all this, we talked about tones, semitones, and now let us refer to tonic triads. A tonic triad, like the name implies, triad, consists of 3 notes. So a tonic triad would have the root, the third, and the 5th note. That's a tonic triad, or any triad at all has the root, the third, and the 5th note. If it's a tonic triad, it means that the root starts from the tonic. So if you have, in this case, let's say F tonic triad on the treble stave, we have 1 flat, and here is F. This will be the root, the third, and the 5th. Here is a tonic triad. This is a triad. This is usually for construction of musical pieces like harmonies for different parts, treble, alto, tenor, if you know about these things, or this is how the harmony is put together using triads. And with that comes to the end of this lesson. As I said, your assignment will be to construct the scale of G major in both treble and the bass staves. See you in the next lesson.